And welcome to 100x Only, the place where we talk about crypto charts. We talk about good tokens, bad tokens, shit tokens, and everything in between. Today we're going to be talking about the Acala protocol that is inside the Polkadot ecosystem. The ticker is ACA. We're going to start from the top. On the yearly chart, we can see that this thing doesn't look too great because it launched earlier in 2022. Today is April 24th, 2022. And the Acala token launched earlier at around $2, and it's currently at $1.26. So some serious downside. We're going to mark the open and launch of this token because that's going to be a place of price memory. Nothing else to see here. If we go to the quarterly chart, we see again what was a launch with some volatility. In the month of April, we did see a upside retest above that $2, which has brought us back to this $1.25. When we get to the monthly, this is where we start seeing an interesting level that we could play from. If you look at this February level at about $1.25, I'm going to make it green because it's a monthly level. We can see that that's where it closed. March, we saw on the monthly side a higher low, where eventually in April, we saw a big push above the $2 that was immediately rejected. And now we're back to the original scene of the crime. Nothing else to see here except when we move into the weekly chart, you can see that $2 is the top of the range. And we really should put another level down here, purple because it's weekly, at the dollar. So you see $1 being the bottom of the range, $2 being the top of the range. So it is important to see, okay, where is the midpoint? It's around the $1.40, $1.50, which look, we can see that it held that level, and then once it broke, it retested from the top, $1.44, again, $1.40 again. Once it got above, it kind of held. So we can see that $1.50, between $1.40 and $1.50, it is a pretty important level. And I don't think there's really anything to mark except the closing of the first quarter. So we're going to do that. We're going to make that maroon brown color, and we're going to bring it down to the daily. What's really interesting about this chart is that from the launch, you kind of have a downtrendish base forming, because once it hit $1.25, it found some buyers, and then it reached the cycle low of 83 cents with that hammer. As you can see, it found buyers. It came to that closing daily level of $1, then it held. You saw this outside reversal, inside candle, consolidate, push away. Small little move, and then it was really this March 25th down candle, which became what we call an order block, because it was the last big down candle before the big push, which put us back to that $1.15 high. And then from there, it couldn't really be above $2, and it's been a slow drip where it consolidated for a number of days, and now it's pushed lower. So what I see here on this chart is there's a big base that has formed. It wasn't able to break as of yet, and now we're kind of retesting the lower levels. The way one could look at this, obviously from the $2, you see the moves that find buyers, but you can't break the $2, but there's still a base that forms. Now, if you're looking from the buyer's perspective, and from the bottom, you had the bottom that happened, it pushes away, it rotates into that level, and it holds beautifully, pushes away, and then there was this big push. Then now we've kind of dripped below. Now you have to ask, where are we here? I see a few things. First, if you look from that low to the high, we're about the 70% retracement Fibonacci level, which is a good bargain level to be looking for something. The other thing is that you have this small little base here, from the low all the way up to the $1.40, which is around the midpoint. And so there's a lot of action that happened here. We had that big down candle that led to the big move. So we could see this as a daily order block to be cognizant of. And you can see that that order block coincides with this green monthly level at about $1.25. And we're going to go to the monthly just to kind of recap. You can see that was the February close. That's kind of been holding so far. I'm going to go back to the daily. So you have a monthly closing level that's pretty key. You have a pretty clear order block, which led to a big rally of about close to 100%. We were at the 70% retracement level. Okay, a lot of positives here for a potential turn. So now we start going down the time frames. At the 12-hour, we're seeing around the same thing. Seeing a doji candle looking to potentially form. Still about 4 hours to go before this candle is said and done. The other interesting thing I would say is this 4-hour candle. So on the 4-hour candle, what it seems we're about to see, and it will close in about 2 minutes, is a potential outside reversal, which is a good sign. Besides that, the relative strength index here, the RSI that you can see from the bottom, it has maintained the 30 level, which is something we want to see on an uptrend. And it just retested and barely got below, and it seems like it doesn't want to be below 30. So when you combine all the things we mentioned along with the RSI at 30 and not wanting to stay there, potentially an outside reversal, we can see that the market is fighting it. You're right there, and it's right at that monthly level. We know it's an important level. The market knows it's an important level. We had an end of the world candle, which before what we're seeing now, you would have said, okay, this is done. It's below that monthly. But now we're seeing the market come in and say, no way, Jose, maybe we have some upside. With all that in place, and as long as the crypto market can hold its ground, there's a trade here. First to that $1.40, which is that key quarterly level, about 12%. And then if you go all the way up to this 155, it's about a 24% move. That would be the second target. You'd probably can put a pretty tight stop here, which would be below the 4-hour candle. And then the third move, now you're starting to get into some aggressive price action. You're assuming that the 140 breaks, this resistance from the move that's been happening from 2 also gets broken, and we retest $2. That would be a 56% move. So to recap the trade, what we have is, and I'm going to go to the weekly here, we have something that is in a range from $2 to $1. There's a midpoint of that range at about $1.40. We are retesting the 70% of this big move from the bottom. It coincides with a monthly level. It coincides with this very nice order block. When we look at the 4-hour, we have RSI at 30, and then we had what we could call an outside reversal on that candle, which puts us in a pretty good spot to put a long with a stop at $1.21, looking for 141, which is about 12%, the 155 or so at around 24%, and then if you're really going for it, the $2 $1.90 handle, which probably puts you at 60%. So that's Acala. It's a project in the Polkadot system. It's in a range with some upside potential bias in its place. We're at about $1.26, thinking that it needs to stay above $1.20, looking for 140, looking for 155, and with a stretch target of even $2 if upside is where this thing wants to go. So that's it for today, traders. Thanks for listening to 100x Only, where we talk about all kinds of tokens, and we'll talk about more soon. Talk to you later.